Lyman, before it was called Lyman, it was Gross Crossing, and it was a farming community. And around 1922, 23, 24 in that area, a company called Pacific Mills, which was up north, was looking for a location here in the south. They sent a person down to look for that location. They determined that the water, the river here, and the terrain was conducive for their business, and they established the mill here in 1924. Then it was called Pacific Mills, and it was called Lyman after Arthur Lyman, who was the president of Pacific Mills at that time. And there they created the mill village and the mill. And from there, in 1954, it was incorporated into the town of Lyman. The building that the town hall is located in at the present time was a community center for the mill, which they used as a basketball court, and they had community functions. The Textile League, I guess the Textile League was the main source of entertainment. Everyone would go to the baseball games. That was the lifestyle. And some of the players that came from the Textile League went up to the major leagues. That was sort of their feeding ground for the major league, was the Textile League. I like Lyman because it's still a small bedroom community. It still has the small town atmosphere. Everyone knows each other. It's a close family of residents that live here, and it's a proud community.
Mr. Gross built the home in 1902, and at that time he owned 2,900 acres, which really encompassed all of the Lyman area. He had, at that time it was called Gross Way or Gross Crossing, and he had, it's our understanding, he had about 50 tenant houses. He owned a huge general store, and his main production here was cotton and cattle. It stayed in the family until 1995, and the granddaughter of Mr. Gross, it passed down through generations. The granddaughter of Mr. Gross, her and her husband, Dr. Ted Machen, decided to sell. It was just getting too large, too much upkeep for them, so they decided to sell. And a couple bought the home and turned it into a bed and breakfast. They spent several months renovating the house, and then after they opened, for probably about 3 years, and then his health started failing, so they put it on the market, and then that's when we found it and we purchased it. When we bought the house in June of 2000, I'm from Anderson originally, so I'm a South Carolina boy, but we were living in Tampa, and so you go from 2 million people to a little over 2,000 people in Lyman, and we love living here. This town is just wonderful. They just opened their arms and accepted us, and we try to give as much back to the community as we can. But I love living in the small town of Lyman. And we're just very honored to be caretakers of this house. The locals around call it the big house because it one time was the largest home in Spartanburg County. And yeah, we have still to this day we have a lot of folks. Every once in a while they'll come up and knock on the door and just say, "Can we just look inside?" Or now we have a lot of people coming for lunch because they say, "Well, this is a good excuse for us to get inside to see the house." And it's just a joy for us to share the home because while we own it, we feel like it just belongs to the town because it is so much a part of Lyman.